Hello, friends. Yeah, it's your 17819987. Back again. Just coming right off of the previous battle with Hop, and we're bringing Mr. out onto the field. I want to say so far I'm happy with the way this series has been going, and I want to keep pushing it as far as I can. So, I'm not going to let up the pace, not even on a holiday. So let's keep it going. I'll start off by saying Mr. has an enormous special defense stat, so of course he's eating up his hips. At the beginning of this episode, I really wanted to test out Mr.'s abilities so that we can get a better handle on how to use him, because I've never used Shuckle before. Not really, anyway. So, unfortunately, Mr. took an L there, but that's okay, we're getting used to him, and we'll eventually get to the point where we're comfortable using him. No problem. Much to discuss this time. We have a gym battle again coming up, as well as catching some Pokemon and making a lot more progress. So stay tuned, take a seat, and enjoy for this next part of this series. So it wasn't working with our poor Shuckles. This time I'm gonna have Massive Dub come out, and he got paralyzed that turn, but we're gonna Iron Head and get an easy W here. This rehome B has been pretty annoying, but with a steel type move, not anymore. Bye bye. So yeah, we wanted to start off this battle because we are going into a new route after this, and we'll just be focusing on a few small battles, because really not very many interesting things happen on that route, really. So you won't be missing much. I just focused on a few things that were important, namely training Mr. So we took a crit right out of the bat right there. Vespiquen, if you're not familiar, has enormous defensive stats. So this is a difficult Pokemon to take down, unless you have Rock type Pokemon. So it's unfortunately going to take down TT very easily. As you can see, this thing is quite annoying. Quite. Considering my options, I choose Kiku to finish it off with a Pyro Ball. And I don't think that takes it out in one hit. Vespiquen has some pretty respectable special defense. But no, I was wrong. It did. So, as you can see, Kiku is just a really strong Pokemon. I'd say out of the 3 starters, I think that Kiku's Pokemon is probably the strongest. Why am I forgetting the name of it? I'll put it on screen. So we had an option to learn Power Split here. That will change our special attack stat and attack stat to even out with the enemy. And Guard Split does the same thing, changes your defense and special defense stats, but the Guard Split is not nearly as helpful, as you can see from our 173 defense and 190 special defense. We don't need defense, we need the attack boost. So I do end up using the attack split a few times to boost my attack, because it averages it out, and if you're averaging it out with a Pokemon that's fairly strong, then that does help. No question. Okay, so we have a, wait for it, Stall off. So this Roselia has decided to use Leech Seed, and this immediately puts Mr. at a disadvantage. Even though Mr. can take the hits, the Leech Seed is going to sap a lot of health. So this is just going to be quite... I decided to keep Mr. in though, even though I knew you could swap out to get rid of the Leech Seed, because I wanted to see what would happen, pretty much. Mr. does have one trick up his sleeve, being if he uses Rest, he will regain all of his health and get rid of status conditions. And I believe I must have to do it probably this turn. Yeah. And as you can see, I've been using Struggle Bug, and that lowers Roselia's special attack to nothing, pretty much. So Mr. is extremely tanky. The only reason this Roselia is a problem is because of Leech Seed. And see right there, even a stab boosted Magic Leaf is doing nothing. So, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee, kind of just enjoy this beautiful scene right here. As you can see, the move I taught Mr. to kind of weaken this thing was Sand Tomb. Sand Tomb is really good for weakening the Pokemon down. And I knew I'd survive this hit, so I just went for a Struggle Bug. And that was a nice stall off. I could have very easily swapped out, but I didn't. And so we're going to skip way ahead to the end of this route. Like I said, not much else interesting happened, but this battle right here was interesting. So I decided to send in my 2 lower level Pokemon, and that was Mr. and Rock Smash. But it turned out Mr. and Rock Smash's synergy. Their synergy was really, really good, because Rock Smash is pretty resistant to most attacks and does a ton of damage, and Mr. is just incredibly durable and can heal himself. Mr. had a boost in this battle because he's immune to sandstorms, so he's not affected by it. And as you can see right there, Rock Smash still has his leftovers, so he's not going to be affected by the sandstorm, really. Excuse me, you know when you have excuse me, when you have some saliva in the back of your throat and you start coughing, you can't even control it. See, even that Ice Punch, that did a lot of damage. Hippowdon is a really heavy-duty Pokemon, so I'm lucky Crunch isn't a flinch-inducing move, otherwise that would be pretty bad. Sand Tomb turned out to be a really good move, because Sand Tomb does damage for 3 to 5 turns, and then it wears off. It turns out the damage that Mr. is doing with the initial Sand Tomb is not very much. It'll only do a small pip of damage, pretty much. But the coil follow-up damage, I don't know exactly what the correct term is, but the damage that happens after the turn is a lot. Especially on Pokemon that can be difficult to take down. So Sand Tomb actually ended up being quite a useful asset to Mr. It was a TM, yeah. And there are a lot of other moves that I could use that way. Another really good one is Rock Tomb, which we will see later. As you can see, yeah, Sand Tomb is doing pretty decent damage. Even though Extra Drill can use Metal Claw and do super effective damage, Mr. is so durable, it can fall asleep and pretty much just have Rock Smash do the rest of the work for him. See, watch this. Oh, I forgot about this. It's so sad, so sad, so sad. So we got really unlucky there, and it got a crit on me while I was asleep. Normally I would have lived that attack, but... So, yeah, Mr.'s out, but we're going to heal him. We're going to send in... I think we sent in My. No, we sent in Kiko again. I'd say... strongest on my party is definitely Kiku and Mai, because even though Rock Smash does have a lot of versatility, if he gets hit by a flying or psychic type move, it'll do a lot of damage to him. Kiku is really fast and hits very, very hard on any Pokemon. And what I have found that's interesting with Mai has amazing defensive stats and like 104, 107 attack to balance out its attack stat, so that's really quite good. Makes him just like a bulky attacker. Mai has really good experience gain, so it's leveling up like faster than most of the party. I don't know what experience group that Mai is in. You know what? Forgive the clicking here, but I will look it up very quickly. Mai is a Dusknoir. Let's just see. Okay, Mai is in the growth rate of fast, actually. Wow, that's surprising. So it has a fast growth rate, which means that it's going to level up faster than the rest of the party, which doesn't even make sense, because it's a fully evolved, like, second stage Pokemon. Speaking of which, here she is. Absolute monster Pokemon, I love her. And eventually I just started letting loose a close combat on Rock Smash, who's been in this fight the entire time, and has not left. Because he's just ridiculously durable. It's amazing. He keeps taunting, but I'm attacking him. I'm not even using status moves. I think the leftovers is a good choice on him. And the opponent sent out a Lucario, which is definitely a threat. I tried a Will-O-Wisp on Lucario, because that would cripple it pretty badly. See, we ate that Metal Claw pretty well. I decided to get rid of this Berserker because it was being annoying. Sorry, but you are not my Berserker. And now we just gotta take care of this pesty Lucario. Lucario's got really good attack stats, so you have to be careful. And it has some pretty great moves it could use too. I think it could use like Payback. I'm not exactly sure. Not exactly sure what dark attacks it could use. But as you can see, Rock Smash has it under control, so Rock Smash is just doing work. I love Rock Smash. As you can see right there, Mai just levels up so quickly. It's so weird. So, yeah, that was a nice easy battle. And we are going to move on to Sir Chester. We have a lot of stuff that happened in Sir Chester. But there's also another gym battle. Because I'm playing Sword, we have to fight against the Rock-type gym leader. But before we do that, we have a lot of things I did beforehand. I first went into the clothing shop because I wanted to change up my fit, my look. And yeah, we just changed our shoes out. I keep going into those shops and there's nothing that interests me. And then I went over here. I discovered something pretty interesting when I was exploring this route. First I fought this lady, which I'm not going to show because she wasn't too interesting. I discovered that by whistling to the Pokemon offshore, you can actually bring them to the shore. I didn't even know this was possible up to this point. But as you can see, this Quillfish has just walked right up to us. It did attack us, but Mr. is so bulky it doesn't even matter. It is annoying that everything in Sir Chester, both the routes and the town itself, everything has hail, so there's always hail. So I decided to test this a little bit further. What can I find? What can I find by continuously re-engaging this small area of the shore? Well, I found you can get this off the shore. I didn't think this would work at first. I accidentally pressed the capture button there. But look, its big model still went into the ground. So this is one occasion where I'm thankful they overlooked such a detail. So we found a nice female Jellicent level 40, which is pretty respectable for this stage of the game. My powerful electric type move doesn't actually do enough because Jellicent is bulky. And when I was catching this Jellicent, I actually thought I might replace Mai with it, but at the end of the story is Mai was more valuable, and I had fought to train Mai a lot harder. So replacing it with a Jellicent, even though I needed a water type, would seem too... I guess it's just an internal struggle with me at least, but it would seem too easy. Too easy. So, I didn't actually end up catching this, but it is an interesting proof of concept at least, that you can catch Pokemon in this area off of the shore. I didn't have... At this point, I hadn't beaten the, and here it goes using Recover, and then makes my life more difficult. But at this point, I didn't have the water bike yet, so I couldn't go into the water. So I had to just pretty much just coax the Pokemon to come closer to me. But if you do it right, it actually works. Most of the time. Certain Pokemon, like the Pelipper that we saw earlier, because it's a flying type and other Pokemon that float like that, it'll actually just fly directly to you. There's like no hesitation. Other Pokemon, like I had a Basculin, I believe I'll show you later, it jetted right towards me. Doesn't even matter. Other Pokemon are small and they can't get very close to the shore, and it doesn't really work. So it kind of just depends, but in general, Pokemon with really big models, like overworld models, like Jellicent here, do pretty well for this. As you can see, this Jellicent is making my life difficult. TT survived on 1 health, and then it got taken out. She got taken out by a Whirlpool, which is pretty unfortunate. Sorry, TT. I have to admit, it's been kind of hard to train TT. I do love her, I do, but I don't know if I'll keep using her. I don't know. I do need her sometimes, though. So we're just going to send in our safe bet, Mai. As you can see, it's kind of hard to believe it's still going, but with a Pokemon that can use Recover, that's not terribly surprising. I'm recording now on the 4th of July. It's before all the fireworks go off, so I'm trying to squeeze this in before there's loud pops and bangs outside. Wouldn't want that for my dear viewers. We did manage to catch the Jellicent after all that effort. Don't even know how. So let's take a look-see at her. Most of this Pokemon's body composition is identical to seawater. It makes sunken ships its lair. It's a good Pokemon. It's really good. But like I said, I'm not going to replace Mai for this. I just won't. I was so much shock, I named her Okay then. Because I was like, I just couldn't believe that had happened. I couldn't believe you. First of all, I didn't know Jellicent even appeared there. I didn't know it appeared. And on top of that, I didn't know it would even come close to me. So I was just in shock. I couldn't believe what was happening. So I went around to different areas. I kind of tested it more. I was curious to see if this shore baiting technique, if you can call it that, this shore baiting technique would be effective in other places, not just on this route near Sirchester. Again, I reconsidered adding her to the party. Water Ghost is nice. She has Brian recover Shadow Ball and Whirlpool, which is pretty good, but her, her nature is a neutral nature. Now, I don't really... Neutral natures are not bad, necessarily, but they're also not good. So you kind of have to play your own cards. I think a lot of people don't mind neutral natures, though, because, there's no downsides. That is an advantage of it, though. Neutral natures have no downsides at all. So, I'm gonna just kind of push this a little bit further and see what else I can do. Now, I really wanted a Mantike. Mantike is tricky because it jumps back and forth, and after trying for probably a minute or two, I realized it was not going to work because its trajectory is too unpredictable, and it doesn't even come close to the shore. So, after a lot of skedaddling around Sir Chester, we were ready to fight the gym leader. We skipped some story there, but it really wasn't important. Just more of the stuff relating to the sword and shield myth and all that stuff. You know, if you've played this game, you know. So, we are ready to take on this gym. And I must say, this is another one of those gyms, just like the Baez and, oh man, I'm forgetting the ghost type gym leader from Shield. But it's one of those gyms where the layout of the gym is identical in both versions. Well, maybe the exact placement of the holes here are not the same, but pretty much they're identical. You saw that little glitch, right? Just then, where there's a line in the ground. I thought that was kind of funny. So this is a rock type gym. Rock type is interesting because it has lots of weaknesses, but the rock type also hits a lot of Pokemon. Covers a lot of... How do I explain this? Rock type is only covered, or resisted by... Let me think. Steel and... Rock is not resistant to rock, actually. It's neutral. Yeah, I think just steel. I'm probably forgetting one. I'm probably forgetting at least one more resistant. But in other words, rock can hit a lot of other Pokemon neutrally. Now, we brought in Martinelli with us. Martinelli, the Pokemon we caught from last episode, because we really needed its grass typing for some of these battles. Not to mention its Gigantamax, and that helps it be resistant to damage and stuff. So, I figured, well, let's give him a shot. I think he'll be useful in this gym. There's a lot of rock, ground, and sometimes even water types. So, that's it. That's the ticket. I think it's weird that they are talking while you're doing this. Just shut up. So, I do mess up some of these holes every once in a while. The layout of this is weird. And sometimes, yeah, like that. Sometimes you feel it, and then it stops right before you, stops right when you're on it. So it can be really confusing. So sometimes you just have to kind of find all the holes before you can progress. That is also something that happens. Which, unfortunately, it seems I have done that exactly. I just keep doing it. But the Ice-type gym is just like this. So, if you don't like falling in holes, then don't play Sword and Shield, because you're going to fall in holes later. So, and there's these platforms, and the trainers are on the platforms, as you can see. I think there's 4 or 5 trainers. And most of the time they have pretty, this Crustle, I had good answers to it. But, we don't always have good answers for these types of Pokemon. Bug Rock is a really unusual mixture of typings. So, a Bug Rock type like Crustle, like Shuckle, kind of interesting how their names sound the same now I think about it. Are both they are only weak to rock, which is kind of interesting because they're rock types. Weak to rock, steel, and water. So kind of odd typings to be weak to. But they're resistant to a lot of types. So if you used a rock slide, for example, on this casul, it would do a lot of damage. So, we brought back Sayri from the team box. Brought her out of retirement, if you will. Because we needed Sayri in this gym battle. She would be a useful Pokemon to have around. She's pretty bulky and has some nice steel moves, so I figured, let's give her a whirl and see what she can do. Because I haven't actually used Sayri since I evolved her about 2 episodes ago. Kind of weird to think about that. So we brought Sayri out of retirement. We have Martinelli as well. So we kind of rearranged the team. You'll notice that we socked away Kiku into the team box, and that's because Kiku would not be helpful here at all. Pyro Ball would be completely resisted by some of these Pokemon. So, yeah, Kiku's just sitting this one out, but we don't need him really. So, I'm gonna bring out Martinelli. Sorry about my squeaky chair. I must say, I really like Martinelli. This Pokemon has pleasantly surprised me in a lot of ways. Very, very bulky. Has good special defense and defense, and then very high HP. Easily the highest in the entire party. Which is kind of funny, because it's really bulky, but then you compare it to Shackle, who has enormous defenses, but very low HP. So these Pokemon are like diametrically opposed to each other. But Martinelli has much higher attack stats, so he's able to do a lot of damage. Like this crit Dragon Pulse right there, that was pretty spicy. That was pretty great. So, with 2 steel types, 1 Pokemon that can resist these attacks, and a grass type, we were pretty actually. And a fighting type in Rock Smash. Those 4 Pokemon, we were pretty well set up to take on this gym, I would say. In fact, I may have actually over-prepared for this gym, now I think about it. If I'm being honest. I could have done something simple, like just get Rock Smash and have Rock Smash just bust through all these trainers, but I didn't do that. Because what would be the fun of that, just using 1 Pokemon the entire gym? That'd be kind of boring if you ask me. So, going to progress to the next puzzle. I think this next puzzle has a sandstorm. The ice gym is hail storm, or blizzard. I guess you could say a blizzard, but in this game it's a sandstorm. At this point you can't see. My controller that I was using has really good vibration, so I could feel it pretty well. But every once in a while I'm still gonna fall, because sometimes you just walk directly into these holes. It's crazy. So we made it onto the first platform, which kind of continues onto these other platforms. And then there's this trainer at the end of the platform. This is the same in both versions. And we'll find Wendy here. She had a Sudowoodo. I don't want to crap on Sudowoodo, because Sudowoodo is actually really good. No question about that. No question about it. We're gonna use Sayri this time. Steel Wing did actually a lot of damage. He decided to block me, but there's really no point in doing this, because he's not gonna survive the next turn. And that was a short battle. So, yeah, that was nice. like I said, Steel type is a pretty good counter to Rock types because it's resistant to it. And then they can just hit back for super effective. I almost said super effective. That's not even a word, super effective. But, yeah, we're just gonna push on here. We're gonna fall into a lot of holes. Again. This last one is tricky. No question about that. Tricky to get around. Failure opens your eyes to things you couldn't see before. That is very true, as I fall into dozens of holes. I mean, that's the point of this, isn't it? You know? As you can see, I'm very carefully, very slowly. There is a specific pattern to this. I got really unlucky there and I went too far forward. It's like, sorry, it like zigzags all over the place. So, I thought you could go through here, and I was right, but then there was a hole right there, so then I was confused. And I tried to go forward, and then kept going forward. At this point, in both games, the sandstorm or hailstorm would clear up, and you could just go this way through. And so let's see what the holes look like now. Boom, 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 boom. As you can see, you can only go straight forward in that one spot. And yeah. So, we are finally ready to take on the rock type gym leader, which for some reason his name is evading me at the moment. It's been a really long time since I fought this guy. Probably, it's been at least a year. Compared to Melanie, who I have fought more recently in the last few months. A lot of people speculate that Melanie and this gym leader are related, but, you know, I'm not exactly sure that's true. Maybe it says somewhere I just haven't seen. Maybe it's in the anime and I just haven't seen it. Who knows? So, we are going to get our Pokemon situated for this next battle. Mister is using a Grip Claw to make his Sand Tomb last 7 to 8 turns. So basically torture. And we give a Citrus Berry to Martinelli so that Martinelli can heal with the berry much earlier at half health. And we have Massive Dub and Rock Smash and Sari. So yeah, like I was saying, I wasn't too worried. My mind is just kind of standing by in case we need her for swapping in and out of something dangerous. Or burning things, you know. Oh, it was Gordy. Why did I forget Gordy? Why did I forget Gordy? Yeah, Melanie and Gordy. A lot of people say Melanie and Gordy are related. And I think there may be some truth to that. And they kind of look like each other. Gordy's a fancy guy, and I kind of respect his style. So, he starts with Barbarical. And I started with Sari. Unfortunately, Sari's steel type attacks will not be super effective here because of Barbarical's water type. So, the next best thing to do was to swap out. Sari can't really do anything here. Thankfully, Martinelli has a doubly super effective attack. Because grass type moves are 4 times effective on this Pokemon. And I was glad that I did this because it started using Shell Smash, which lowers its defenses but raises its attack, special attack, and speed. So Barbarical would become an absolute monster if you didn't stop it. It used Razor Shell here, which is doubly resisted. I don't know why he did this. That was was a really stupid move. And I hit it with my special attack. He's gone. That was a really easy takedown. I must say Martinelli is pleasantly powerful. I'm glad to have gotten this. And he had his own Shuckle. Like I said, it's been a very, very long time since I have fought against Gordy. And I completely forgot he had his own Shuckle on his side. But we have a very good counter to Shuckle in my mind. Because my can resist all of Shuckle's attacks, burn it to lower its relatively low HP stat, and then use Confuse Ray to just hit it more. So, my is really good at taking down Pokemon that are like really heavy-duty defensive Pokemon like Shuckle. So it just goes to show you have to play your cards right. Even a Pokemon as durable as Shuckle can be confused and burned. So we're just going to whittle it down pretty much, and I'm pretty sure I start using Shadow Punch. It has Rock Tomb, which will lower my speed, but my is already a really slow Pokemon, so it doesn't even do anything. Shuckle is actually even slower than me, so that's why I keep outspeeding, funnily enough. So, to a Pokemon like Rock Smash, for example, the Shuckle would be a problem. But for a Pokemon like this Ghost type here, it's not an issue. Eventually I just started using Shadow Punches because I needed to do more damage. It keeps lowering my speed, but it's no big deal. I kept noticing he kept using Rock type moves, so he kept using Rock Tomb and Stone Edge and stuff, and I was like, why are you doing this? You are a tiny little bug to me, and you're attacking me. So it didn't make any sense. Now, here's a really cool Pokemon, Stone Shiver. Just your typical rock type, has very high attack and very high defense. It used Stealth Rock on us, which I don't have Rapid Spin or any moves like that can dispel it. But at least before I swap out my we're going to burn it, because that will dramatically lower its abilities to hurt us. So, we are going to swap in Massive Dub, I believe. I don't remember. No, we just swapped in Martinelli. Yeah, I learned really quickly Martinelli was just the best pick for this gym because it had a special attacking move in Apple Acid, which does a lot of damage and can lower special defense so it can do even more damage. And then Martinelli has Recover, and Recover is amazing. So watch this. We're going to take a Body Slam. It's going to take us to half health. The berry we used, Pine Leaf, pops off. We gain back the health we just lost. Recover goes. And now we're at full health. So that's pretty helpful. Martinelli is now at full health. Stone Journey is burned. And we are going to go for Apple Acid because it can't do anything else to us. So as you can see, 80 power, pretty good. Oh no, I used Bulldoze because I kind of figured, this thing is bulky enough. It'll live one attack, but it actually... Oh my gosh. Martinelli got a crit with Bulldoze, which should have been resisted. So that was just nuts. I was like, I shouldn't have been able to get away with that. So he's going to send out his signature Mon Colossal, which is actually a Gigantamax Colossal. We have an answer to this in Max Quake, which will do quadruple damage. So if you're fighting against Gordy, always remember to have a ground type or some kind of ground type move on you to do enormous damage. So, our Gigantamax Appleton is going to come into play here. You notice all Pokemon that go Gigantamaxing or Dynamaxing gain HP. My Appleton had already high HP at like 150, but you're gonna see it got way higher with its Gigantamax version. So now its HP maximum is, before it, okay, I used Max Quake. Now this is going to do colossal damage. See what I did there? That was a little joke. Okay, so our special defense rose from that, and he's going to use Max Flare. Did pretty pitiful damage, all things considered. That was pretty just lame damage. So we won this battle pretty easily. I mean, his Colossal can't do much to us, and we're faster than it. I don't have any problems with Colossal. I think it's a great Pokemon. Fire is a weird mixture of typings, but if you know how to use it right, it can be really powerful. So, yeah, bringing in Martinelli to this battle was the right call. I'm glad I brought Martinelli into this fight. So we beat Gordy pretty easily, which is nice. And from there, we're going to move on. Oh well, we get our next badge, of course, and we'll be able to catch Pokemon up to level 50 now, I believe. Let me, if I remember correctly, yeah, level 50. So now we can start catching some pretty strong Pokemon. No question about that. He gives us Rock Tomb, which is pretty funny because I was just thinking about it. Rock Tomb is really good on Shuckle. I'll probably consider putting it on Shuckle later, because lowering the speed is really helpful for the rest of the team. So, we get ready to move on. We have a little bit of story, but we have another battle right after this. And we have a rival battle after this, after some of this story segment. So, this rival battle, I'm going to talk through this story section while we're taking care of this. This rival battle that came after the Sirchester gym that we just went through, and the rival battle on the bridge in between Sirchester and Mojostoke that we did last episode. Those two rival battles are actually quite difficult if you don't have the right Pokemon. Quite difficult. Sayori got 2 levels during this battle, and we're going to bring Kiku back into the team because we really need Kiku. But for right now, we are going to leave Sayori and TT in the team box, because I wanted to experiment a little bit with this team. Trust me, I have loyalty with Pokemon, and I like to use Pokemon I've used for a long time. I think a lot of people do, but sometimes you gotta try new things. And the Shuckle that I added ended up being a more useful Pokemon than I originally expected. It's not just there to take hits, it can actually take out other Pokemon. Now, I left this story segment in because I think out of all the story segments, it's kind of the funniest. The clue for the Sword and Shield is literally inside of a pizza restaurant. Well, an Italian restaurant. And I think that was kind of funny. You know, sometimes they squeeze a little bit of humor in there, which kind of helps break up the seriousness of it every once in a while. I would eat in a restaurant like this. It seems like a nice little place. Has a nice bar, some wine, some lasagna and spaghetti. Oh yeah. Italian food is good, man. I love Italian food. So much bread and cheese and sauce. So, now, finally, we go to this area that is known as the Hero's Bath. And the Hero's Bath is our next rival battle. This rival battle is a challenge, no question. Hop comes at us full force, and he's not a pushover in any regard. What does make this battle more difficult is, just like in the rest of Sir Chester and in the routes around it, it hails the entire battle unless you change the weather, which I don't have any Pokemon that can change the weather right now. So, it's going to be hailing the entire battle. So, we are going to fight with Hop. He is going to start... Oh, well, first they healed us, but I already healed my Pokemon, so I didn't even need it. And Hop is going to start with his double. I started with Martinelli because I figured Martinelli would be able to take on pretty much everything he had. And I started with a bulldoze to kind of slow it down. It's using Growl on us to lower our attack, and so I swapped over to a special attack because I thought that double was more specially bulky. Well, I used Apple's acid on it, and it did a lot of damage. Easily another hit will take out this double. And he wimped out. He wimped out. Come on. I keep lowering his special defense with Apple Acid. And, yeah, Martinelli gets an easy W with double. Easy W with double. It's kind of a fun tongue twister. Unfortunately, he has his Corviknight, and Martinelli cannot take a flying type. That actually will kill Martinelli. So, we gotta pull him out. Her out, sorry. So, I threw in Kiku, and Kiku took some damage from that swap in. But, we do have Pyro Ball, and that's going to easily take out his Corviknight. So that was a good swap in. As you can see, Kiku is still as strong as before, hasn't really diminished much. Now, Pincharin can be quite annoying. So, I swapped in Mr. because we're going to kind of go... Oh, that's why it's annoying, because Pincharin has Curse, and so it's going to raise its attack and defense, and that makes it really dangerous. Really dangerous. It starts using Spark, which can easily paralyze us. But Mr. has Rest, and Rest removes the status condition and replaces it with Sleep. And it has Bubble Beam, so... even though Mr. is pretty resistant to most of these attacks, it's going to have to heal itself eventually. So, I believe probably next turn I must have used Rest. I am the kind of person that likes to use Rest without using Chesto Berry. That's just how I am. It is a risky strategy, I don't question that at all. So, it's just going to keep battering me. The hail is going to keep battering me, but notice my Sand Tomb is doing a lot of damage, even though I'm asleep. So, that is one advantage of using Grip Claw on this, because the move just keeps going, it doesn't stop. Now, if it did stop while I was asleep, that would be really bad. We got unlucky again, and it critted us again. That's the second time that's happened. So, Mr. took an unfortunate fall there, and his Pokemon finally fainted from being weathered down. We sent in Massive Dub on the Snorlax. Ironhead does almost half health. That's pretty good for a Snorlax. We're going to use it again. Now, it will live this hail, so we're going to have to use another attack. Unless he heals his Pokemon. Nope, he didn't, so slash it up. We got a lucky crit there for no reason. Why does that always happen when you get crits when the Pokemon are, like, almost dead? Why does that always happen? Okay, so the battle is far from over. He sends in his Rillaboom. This is easily his most threatening Pokemon on the team, and I think we know this from previous experience. It has Brick Break, I use Swagger, to kind of trick it up and ruin his strategy. Fortunately, this raised his attack by 2 levels. And Rillaboom is already a pretty strong Pokemon, so we're going to send in Kiku. It's going to use Brick Break. Kiku unfortunately fainted from that, which is not good. That is not good. So we're going to use Fake Out. During the last battle, or last few battles, Rock Smash learned Revenge. So I replaced Revenge with Mega Punch. He's going to use a signature move in Drum Beating. Rock Smash almost faints, but it's going to faint from the Hail. Hail, man. Hail. And we have our Massive Dub. Massive Dub's not going to be able to do very much, unfortunately. Rillaboom outsped us. So, yeesh. We're left with just Mai and Martinelli. So Mai, now at level 46, took a knockoff and actually fainted from it because it was a boosted knockoff. So Martinelli is the only Pokemon left that can help us. It survived a Brick Break, and we successfully got off an attack and won. I thought we were going to lose that battle, I'm going to be honest. But we got really lucky. So, Hop is going to fight the Sirchester Gym, and I am going to move on. Because there is a lot more to do still, even in this episode. And I especially wanted to get the Water Bike. Because the Water Bike is very, very important. Muy importante. I probably totally butchered that, but sorry. But we're going to heal up first. We're going to head over to the water route. I'm not good at remembering route names, I'm sorry. I really am not good at remembering the number of the route, name of the route. Unless I've been in the route for a long time. That's a little bit different. Gonna check up on our Pokemon team really quick. Pretty powerful team, all things considered. This could easily take me through the end of the game, if I trained it right. But I think I decided to box someone. Who did I decide to box? I decided to box Massive Dub. So I removed his item and brought back TT. So TT wasn't in the meme box for very long. TT is back again. So TT at level 38 compared to my 40s party is going to have to undergo a lot of training to get stronger. And for some reason it does not level up easily. I don't know why. I could use experience candies. I could use rare candies, but that's too easy. That's too easy. I'm an elite gamer, man. I can't do that. It would go against my gamer code. So, yes, I'm making it harder on myself, but it is worth it, I think. I didn't really explore Sirchester very much. I might go back next episode and explore it more. But for now, we're gonna go through, it was Route 9. Route 9. Why did I forget Route 9? Alright, we're gonna go through Route 9. We've already fought that trainer. And now we're going to go through this area known as Sirchester Bay. Sirchester Bay. You have to fight these Team Yell members to continue on the story. Just your typical Team Yell battle. But despite how it looks, with the two of them, it actually is only one Team Yell member that we have to fight, as you're about to see. Now this guy promises us he'll give us a water bike if we defeat these guys. So, like, of course, yes, we're going to do that. So, yeah, we're just gonna send TT out. TT really needs the experience. Discharge on them. And Discharge has a pretty good rate of paralysis. I'm sorry if you hear bangs in the background. Pretty good rate of paralysis. But, you know, it's not always something we can control. So we're going to send in Rock Smash to take out this Pangoro. For some reason, Pangoro always causes trouble to us, for some reason. But we have a good answer to it now. I used Fake Out to weaken it a little bit more. And then we're going to use... oh, Revenge, actually, because, yes, that's the right move. That's the right move to use. Because I got hit by Crunch, Revenge did 120 damage just then. So that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. So, yeah, we're ready to move on through Sirchester Bay. There's a lot of Pokemon and trainers and items here, so there's a lot to see here. But we're going to skip through a lot of this. Though I will show you some highlights of exploring Sirchester Bay. I tried to do the shore baiting technique in Sirchester Bay, but there wasn't really any Pokemon you could use it on. So we can finally go on water, which is pretty nice. This is always a nice thing to be able to do. So, let's go through Sirchester Bay. We almost got hit by that Mantine. And there's a Whalmer. There's a lot of man types. I did think about getting a Mantine, but I didn't really need one. And this was an interesting battle here with this black belt. That's a black belt, right? It almost looked like he was wearing a red belt. Which red belts are kind of a different thing altogether. He saw us from the water. I couldn't believe that. Yeah, he is a black belt. He had an interesting Pokemon, Grapple-Locked. Notice I used Thunder Wave there, but it can't paralyze a Grapple-Locked because it's limited. So, it's a pure fighting type Pokemon, despite looking like a water type. Still, don't be deceived, this is a fighting type Pokemon. We sent out our Shuckle because Shuckle can kind of do stuff, but then it taunted us, so then we couldn't do stuff. And then I sent in Martinelli, because Martinelli just handles everything. We're going to use Apple Acid. That did a lot of damage. It's going to taunt us. And we're attacking, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of show off Grapple-Locked, because I think Grapple-Locked is really cool. And ironically, the black belt had a black belt hiding behind him, which is also kind of funny. Black belt is a nice a nice item to have for sure. So this little couple here is going to give us dive. We're going to grab a dive ball, and we're going to skip ahead a little bit because there's a lot of stuff that happened. But I do want to show you what I'm going to call the shortest battle in this entire run. The absolute shortest. So we're going to have a counter up on the screen. Look how short this battle was. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Send out TT. Hailing. We're going to use Discharge. This Pokemon has no special defense, so it's going to cleave through this. 18 seconds, 19 seconds, 20 seconds, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 30 seconds. 30 seconds and 300s. That was really fast. 30 seconds is really fast for a Pokemon battle. So we went through the rest of the route. Not too much more to say there. We squeezed by these Pokemon, and there's one more battle I wanted to show off. This double battle up here. This double battle has 2 strong Pokemon, and if you're doing a playthrough of Sword and Shield and you fight these guys, you will know these people are not to be messed around with. They can be quite deadly. So we're going to use the same mixture we used earlier with Mr. and Rock Smash. And we're going to heal up our Pokemon first. I don't even know what I just did there. Oh yeah, I organized my items. As you can see, my is already at level 47. Good lord. That is really high level for this part of the game. So, we have Music Crew, Owen, and Mercy. Jesse, I didn't catch it. But they have a Toxtricity and a Maractus. These Pokemon can be really dangerous if you're not well prepared. Especially Toxtricity. Because it can poison you, and then use Venoshock and do a ton of damage. Fortunately, these two Pokemon have really high special defense stats. They can eat that. We're going to Ice Punch this Maractus, and that took it out. Wow. Rock Smash is just a monster. He tried to learn Focus Punch, but Focus Punch won't work for this kind of Pokemon. I tried to use Withdraw there, but Toxicity is more of a special attacker. And we just have Toxicity to deal with now. I'm going to use Ice Punch again because it's neutral. Toxicity survived. He poisoned me, and I used Struggle Bug. So, yeah, not too bad. We finished that off pretty capably. I tried to learn Future Sight for my, but that would not work. That would not work. I have 75 special attack. That's not going to work. So, we're going to call it quits for today. There are loud bangs outside from the fireworks. So I want to call it quits for today. 017819987. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.